Hey, what's up, guys? It's the Sports Blitz here, and we are here for our NFL Week 4 game predictions. Week 3 had some surprising games, definitely some games that surprised me a lot, such as the Vikings completely destroying the Texans. That caught me off guard. Panthers coming out of nowhere and destroying the Raiders with Andy Dalton, that is. That was surprising for sure. Broncos coming out and really taking care of business against the Bucks. Just some really surprising games that I wasn't really expecting. So let's go ahead and see if there's going to be some upsets this week. So starting off, we've got the Jaguars taking on the Houston Texans. The Jags are a bad team right now. Trevor Lawrence is not looking good. It doesn't seem like they've really been able to run the ball real well either. Defense is starting to really not look good either. Honestly, after this type of performance, it's really got to be only a matter of time until Doug Peterson is fired. It's not looking good for the Jags. So that'll be interesting to see what happens with them. But I am going to go with the Texans this week. I think they bounce back from an embarrassing performance against the Vikings. They both are actually coming off very embarrassing performances, but I think the Texans are the better team. They're the home team. I just have a lot more confidence in them to win. So then we have the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Indianapolis Colts in Indy. Anthony Richardson has not looked great. He didn't throw any touchdowns last week, threw 3 interceptions. Basically, that game for the Colts was won by Jonathan Taylor and their defense. And honestly, I think they're going to struggle just as much against a really mean Steelers defense. So I'm going to go with Steelers this week. I think Justin Fields has been doing plenty to manage games. Their run game hasn't been like explosive, but they've been running the ball well enough to win games. So, solid running the ball, really good defense, and Justin Fields has been managing the game. I think that's plenty to beat the Colts. Then we have the Broncos at the New York Jets. Bo Nix looked a lot better against really a Bucks team that I thought was going to be really good this year. Didn't get his first passing touchdown yet, but he did get his first touchdown and a rushing touchdown. So the Broncos are improving. Their defense looked really good. So I actually expect this to be a little bit closer of a game than a lot would expect. But I am going to go with the Jets here. I think it's going to be enough to really mess with Bo Nix a little bit. I think they're going to get a lot of pressure. I think he's going to be picked off at least once. But I do think it'll be a close game. I really do. But going with the Jets there. Then we have the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the LA Chargers. And I don't know the injury status with Justin Herbert. But I mean, Joe Alt is injured right now. Derwin James is suspended for this game. It really seems like the Chargers have a lot of injuries going right now. And honestly, I don't see a way that I can really bet against the Chiefs in this game. I know it wasn't like a super convincing win against the Falcons, but I think it was enough that I don't see any way that I can really go against the Chiefs in this game. So I'm gonna go for the Browns Raiders game. That's tough. I think these are two bad teams. I think the Raiders are a little bit worse of a team right now, though, so I am going to go with the Cleveland Browns. I think they've still got a solid defense. I think they'll be able to run the ball pretty well on the Raiders. I do expect a little bit of a Devontae Adams bounce back game, so I think he'll get a little bit more involved with this game. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Cleveland Browns. Then we have actually a really exciting game with the Bills at the Ravens. Bills have been significantly better than I thought they were going to be this year. I thought they were going to take a big step back without Stephon Diggs, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer. I mention this every week. You guys get the picture. But they've been a lot better than expected. Josh Allen Josh Allen and Sam Darnold right now are neck and neck for front runner for MVP right now. And they're both just playing really well. Josh Allen, I think he's fumbled once, but he hasn't thrown any interceptions. So he's looked really good, taking care of the ball. The defense is looking hungry. The Ravens, the really the Ravens defense has not looked right this year. And I get they've played some tough teams. I mean, they started off the season playing the Chiefs in Arrowhead. I forget who they played week 2. Having a hard time remembering who they played week 2. But I mean, they played the Dallas Cowboys this week and popped 28 on them. They did almost allow Dallas to come back, but you gotta wonder if some of that was really more garbage time and they're like, okay, we've got this put away already. Maybe we can take our foot off the gas sort of thing. Hard to say, but yeah, either way, the Ravens defense hasn't looked as good as expected. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I'm gonna go with the Buffalo Bills here. Okay. Then we do have on Monday night, we have the Tennessee Titans at the Miami Dolphins, and this is not going to be a fun game. The Dolphins are going to be without Tua. Skylar Thompson hasn't been good. He was not good against the Seahawks at all. It was pretty atrocious. I'm actually going to take the Titans to win their first game of the season. The Dolphins are really in a rough spot without Tua this year. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. They're in a rough spot. Then we have the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Charlotte to take on the Carolina Panthers. And this is going to be kind of an Andy Dalton revenge game. Really shocking to see how much he tore apart the Raiders' defense. They were running the ball well. Receivers were getting open. Andy was just lethal against them. And I'm trying to grade this as unbiasedly as possible because I am a Panthers fan, but I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible here. But Andy looked lethal against the Raiders. The Panthers' O-line was really holding up well. They were getting pressures. I saw that Clowney had 8 pressures in that game, so really impressive there. If he can do the same against Burrow this game, which without Trent Brown this game could happen. Depends on how good Amarius Mims ends up being. So that'll be something to watch. On the other side, the Bengals haven't won any games this season. They've started off really slow. Their offense has started to finally put things together, though, especially these last 2 weeks. Week 1, they were real slow and lethargic. Week 2, they kind of pulled it together against the Chiefs. Week 3, they really, really heated up against the Commanders. Really made that a fun game to watch. Unfortunately, they couldn't do quite enough to, win the game. The Bengals' defense was looking awful. I mean, it was atrocious. Run defense and pass defense. They made Jaden Daniels look incredible. And to be fair, I do think Jaden Daniels will be a stud, but they made him look like an absolute veteran quarterback back there. As much as I'd really love the Andy Dalton revenge game story here, as much as I'd want to see a Panthers win here, I think the Bengals are going to come in too hungry and they're going to put on an offensive showing. I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals. Then we do have the New England Patriots taking on the 49ers. I could see this being a little bit closer than I originally expected, simply because how many players are out for the Niners. I don't know the status of Deebo Samuel or George Kittle, if they're going to be back this week or even soon. Obviously, you still got McCaffrey on IR. So those are some big injuries for them. On the Patriots end, Jacoby Brissett hasn't looked great. They've been running the ball well enough, though, that between that and their defense, they've been able to hang in games aside from that Jets game. I mean, they beat the Bengals week 1, and they took the Seahawks to overtime week 2. So I think they've got some talent there, but offense just doesn't have enough firepower to really win this game. So I'm going to go with the 49ers. Then going off to the all NFC games, we have the Dallas Cowboys coming off a loss, going against the Giants, coming off a win in prime time. Now, I'm going to say right now the Giants are playing like the better team. They are. But there's kind of that like big brother rivalry sort of thing there that the Cowboys always seem to just annihilate the Giants. Like, even if the Giants are playing better right now than the Cowboys, I don't really see the Giants winning this. And I get it. They're a different team than they were in past years. They're not there's different players on their roster. Obviously now they have Malik Neighbors, but I really feel like the Cowboys are going to win this. I'd like to see the Giants win it. Don't get it twisted. I would like to see the Giants, but I think the Cowboys win it. Then we have the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Packers. Now, Vikings fans, I want you to listen very closely on this one. I've been extremely wrong about the Vikings this season. Coming into the season, I thought they were going to be bottom 5 in the league. I had zero confidence in Sam Darnold. I didn't think the defense was going to be even a fraction as good as it is. So I didn't. So I've been very wrong about them. And it kind of made me realize, it's like, okay, if I keep picking against the Vikings, maybe the Vikings will keep getting the upset. I mean, maybe that's flawed logic. And in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, I think the Vikings have a good shot at winning this game. Especially if Jordan Love doesn't play. That's another big factor here. If Jordan Love plays, it's going to be a tough ball game. But again, thinking here, I'm like, I've been wrong about the Vikings so much. Maybe if I pick against them again, the Vikings keep winning. So, because of that, I'm going to go with the Packers. Hopefully I didn't jinx anything. We'll have to see, but I know that's kind of some dumb logic there, but that's what I'm going with. Then we have the LA Rams, who have been kind of riddled with injuries, making a comeback against the Niners, really without Cooper Kupp and Puka. So that was really an impressive win for the Rams. Coming back, being down at least 10 points. I don't know if it was ever a bigger margin at any point, but at least 10 points, and winning. Matt Stafford is that guy, man. And then they're going against the Chicago Bears, who Caleb Williams hasn't looked great. I mean, I know they've had some offensive line issues. I know they haven't been able to really get their run game going, and that's valid issues. Like that's not in a way to discredit Caleb Williams at all. But altogether, their offense just hasn't really been able to get a lot going, and I think because of how good Stafford truly is, I think he's going to find a way to win again without his two-star receivers. Then we have another exciting game, actually. We have the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll be honest. I did not expect them to beat the Saints. Saints, by the way, are another team I've been 100% wrong about every game this season. I thought the Panthers were going to beat them week 1. I was dead wrong about that. I thought the Cowboys were going to shut them up week 2 and realize that their offense really isn't that good. Was wrong about that. And then week 3, I finally picked them to beat the Eagles, and they lost. So Saints are another team I've been completely wrong about. So we'll see if that trend continues. I know this is kind of jumping to the next game. I kind of got talking about them when talking about the Eagles. So I'm going to go Saints over Falcons and see if that trend continues. Because if they lose this week, then it means I'm just predicting them wrong every week. So, but again, back to the Eagles and Bucks. I think this should be a good matchup. I really like the matchup with Mike Evans against Darius Slay. I think that should be fun to watch. Also, Quinion Mitchell against Chris Godwin. I don't really see the Bucks being able to run the ball super well this game, and I think that was kind of the main reason why the Falcons were able to win the game. So I am going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles to win this, but if Mike Evans and Godwin do enough to win, I wouldn't be shocked. But then kind of back to the Saints-Falcons game. Again, it's a matter of I've been wrong about every Saints and Falcons game. Or sorry, every Saints game. Sorry guys, it's late. My mind is kind of in a lot of different areas right now. But yeah, I mean, Derek Carr didn't look like week 1 and 2. Derek Carr during week 3. That offense just didn't have the firepower that it did before. Rashid Shaheed didn't catch a single pass. Really, Alvin Kamara couldn't really get going. And I want to make this clear. I do actually think the Falcons are going to win this. I do. But I want to pick the Saints and see if my theory was right, that I keep being wrong about them. So, the Falcons are another team though that they've been playing well, but they've been disappointing at the same time. Like, they have so much potential, and every once in a while you see a few plays from them that they look amazing, and then they look like trash the next like 10 plays. It's really weird. I don't understand the Falcons there, but again, in my mind, I do think the Falcons win. but we're testing my theory about being wrong about the Saints every week. So then we do have the Commanders taking on the Cardinals. If you would have asked me 2 weeks ago what I thought of this game, I would have said the Cardinals are blowing the Commanders out of the water. Like, Cardinals putting up like 35 on them and just blowing them out. I don't think that's the case anymore. I do still think it's going to be I do still think the Cardinals score a lot of points this game. Really still maybe over 30, but I do think the Commanders actually put up a really tough fight this game. Jaden Daniels really impressed me. Really finally got that connection with Terry McLaurin going, so that was really impressive. I am going to go with the Cardinals ultimately, but this is one that, with how the Commanders played last night, I wouldn't be shocked at all if the Commanders pulled this off. So then we have the other Monday Night Football game, and this is 1,000% going to be the one that I'm going to watch because the Titans-Dolphins game does not sound exciting to me. I had a lot of Seahawks fans angry at me for putting them at 14 this week. Guys, my thing is they haven't played anyone good. All right, week 1, I think week 1 was when they played the Broncos, and I mean, yeah, they beat the Broncos, but the first half of that game was really close actually. Wasn't looking great. And then week 2, they let the Patriots take them to overtime before winning by a field goal. So wasn't real impressed by that. And then this week, they're coming off a win against the Dolphins without Tua. I mean, they just haven't really had any real challenges yet. So, like, I understand that the Seahawks are 3-0, and they've got some talent, but they haven't played anyone legit yet. I can't put them real high if I haven't really seen them play a real team. So, Lions are kind of an interesting thing. They beat the Rams week 1 while they had Puka and Cup. So that was impressive. I still think the Lions are a really good team and will figure their crap out. But they did get a loss week 2 to... Who did they lose to in week 2? I'm actually having a hard time remembering. But yeah, I remember they lost week 2. Then they did end up beating the Cardinals in week 3. And really that was a game too that if the pick 6 that the Cardinals had would have stood, Cardinals probably would have ended up winning that game. So definitely suspect play by the Lions, but I do think they'll figure it out real quickly and they're going to have a real explosive offense again really soon. I am going to take the Lions in this game. I really believe they're the better team. I know a lot of Seahawks fans are upset and probably hate me right now between this and my power rankings video, but I gotta stand with what I actually think is going to happen. So, let me know what you think of these predictions in the comments section below. Again, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Later.